I woke up at 5:30 2 days ago, knowing that something had to change. I'd been putting in close to 14-hour days for weeks and weeks now, pushing towards a deadline, running on empty. And I realized that I was doing the exact opposite of what I've asked you, the aphasia spouse, to be doing. Nobody told you how to live a good life when your loved one has aphasia. You can. This is life beyond aphasia. Here's the problem. You've been running on empty too. You tell yourself it's for him, for the family, for everyone who needs you, because they need you. And that story feels noble, but it's keeping you stuck. This is not a time management problem. It's a belief problem. Here's what's coming and why it matters. Today, I'm sharing with you what happened to me. And I'm going to share 3 steps that I took that you can apply right now for your situation. There's a belief underneath all of these steps that we're going to get into today, and it's the same one you are carrying right now. What is this actually costing you? When you're running on empty, the cost doesn't show up all at once. It's cumulative. It's progressive. It shows up when you snap at your partner. It shows up when you find yourself crying in the car before you leave the grocery store. You find it 30 minutes to yourself, and you can't figure out what to do with it. You don't know if you should be sitting or standing or sleeping. And this is just not what sustainable caregiving looks like. It's the cost of not stopping. It's the cost of what's driving you, and you are running out of runway. And this is not about doing less. It's about being strategic and understanding what underlies all of it. And here's the belief that keeps you stuck. You believe everybody expects you to be doing all of it, that you are Superwoman and you have to keep going. That his needs come first because after all, he is the survivor. He's the one that had the medical condition. And when you stop, it feels like you're failing him. And of course you believe this because the rehab system, without so many words, told you so. They handed you the discharge packet. They gave you his exercises. They told you that you need to show up at these appointments at these times, but they never once stopped to ask you how you were doing. Nobody asked what you needed to be successful in supporting your person while they are recovering from aphasia. Beyond the system, nobody put all this pressure on you except for you. Sacrificing yourself does not help him to recover. You cannot make his recovery happen more completely or more successfully or faster by sacrificing yourself. By sacrificing yourself, I mean giving up your entire identity, time, energy for him. Your husband is worth your love and devotion and care and support, but his recovery is not your responsibility. And that's what rehab did not say to you. You sacrificing yourself is not love in action. It's going to wear you out. That is fear. You fear what could happen if you pulled back, if you didn't give everything of yourself. Because they said it weighs on you. Do these things or these things are going to happen, meaning not the recovery you would each like to have. I have 3 steps for you. And these 3 steps I walked through 2 days ago when I realized something had to change. The first step, I had to acknowledge what was happening. When I woke up that morning, I was already exhausted. I'd gone to bed late. I had been working late, trying to put things together for our current launch. And then I realized I couldn't keep going like this. When I went to sit down and work and keep going on my to-do list, I couldn't do it. My brain wouldn't focus. I got up, I walked around, I played with the cat, I took the dog back outside, I let the chickens out, and none of that helped me get back to focusing. So what I did is I changed my environment. I went and sat at the dining table with a notebook and a pen, and I got to writing. And what did I write? That I was doing too much. That when we had made this plan for this upcoming launch, that was 6 months ago. And life, as it has an opportunity to do, changes. Things have shifted in my life, and this time frame is not sustainable, and it was burning me out. So for you, the signal might look differently than it did for me. You might be snapping at him. You might find yourself in tears. You may find that when you do get that break in the day, you don't know what to do with yourself. And then on top of it, you feel guilty. You feel guilty that you're not taking advantage of this 30 minutes that you just got. Step 2, dig deeper into the why. For me, my signal told me something was off. It told me that I was doing something that I couldn't keep up with, and that I was going to have long-term consequences if I continued on that same path. I found that I had this self-imposed deadline, certain tasks that had to be accomplished. I had a team to lead. We were all on the same page. We were all pushing towards this goal, and I didn't want to be the one to. I had a fear of letting my team down, but really I had a fear of letting myself down. I thought that if I couldn't do this because we had planned so thoroughly for this, that I was a failure. And then I got to thinking about you. I'll bet you have exactly these same feelings. I'll bet that you think if you don't do the shower, the medication, the healthy meals, the getting of the extra supplements in addition to the medication plan, if you don't give him opportunities for growth and experiences, that you are failing him because you do want him to recover. But when you put all your emphasis on him, you don't take care of yourself. So that fear is what underlies. It's what was underlying my issue, and it's very likely what's underlying whatever's keeping you stuck. So step 3 is we have to make a different plan. At the table with my notebook and pen, I took a step back. I realized that I did have some concrete things I could look at to try and figure out where to go from here. I had a jumping off point. I was able to look at our YouTube schedule, the 8 episodes I'd already recorded that were edited but not posted yet. And I knew I had something to work with. I didn't have to go back to step 0 and start all over again. I had to make a shift in my mindset. I had to say that it was okay and give myself permission to do it differently. Again, I wasn't having to start over at 0. What did I need to do to bridge that gap? And you, the aphasia wife, you have these same situations that come up. Maybe it's an obligation somebody asked you to do. Maybe it's something you feel like you need to do for your person. Maybe it's something extra and you think, oh, this would be so amazing, but maybe doing that is just too much. So maybe instead of doing it right now and pushing, maybe it's something that can be postponed to the next time that opportunity comes up. You took it on because you love your person, but nobody told you that there was another way. There is. And this other way starts with the same thing I did this morning. You stop long enough to work through it. So here's your next step. For you aphasia wives, I encourage you to follow the link below and take our 10-minute self-reflection tool called the Care Partner Compass. It's digital, and what it's going to show you is where you have strengths and where you are challenged. And it's going to give you a customized 6-page PDF that guides you to the next step. The one thing that rehab packet didn't give you was how to keep your own identity, how to keep your health and support your person at the same time. This Care Partner Compass is that first step. In our next episode, I'm going to teach you about frameworks. Frameworks has been one of the most important tools I train inside the Care Partner Collective. It's something I use in my daily world. And I will tease this and say that one of our members in the Care Partner Collective loved this so much, she taught it to her daughter. If this episode hit a chord for you, I'm glad. I hope it makes you stop and think about what you're doing day to day. Help you think about the decisions that you make and why do you make them. It also should be giving you permission to slow down, analyze, and work out a new plan. We would appreciate your support. Like, follow, and subscribe. Leave a comment. Aphasia caregiving does not trend on YouTube. It's not a very popular topic. You help us reach other families that need to hear these same messages. Rehab ends. Life doesn't. Rebuild communication, rebuild connection, rebuild life. This is Life Beyond Aphasia.